Oh my God, I just got spit on for the second day in a row. We're in Michigan, Niles, Michigan to be exact, and we are at Niles Haunted Attraction here in Niles, Michigan. It's a multi-venued, I mean, they have multiple attractions, and I am standing in their Midway, and the first thing that I noticed that I've never seen anywhere in my life is everywhere you walk, they have turf down. Everywhere. You see that? Because they said that they have a problem with mud. So they have turfed every square inch. They claim that no matter where you walk, it's turfed. So every area of this attraction is turfed. Now I will tell you, they have a massive Midway here, and we're gonna go and talk to the people who operate this attraction. Oh, there they are right there. Okay. So hey, what's your names again? Aaron and Ross. And hey, I was talking about the turf. I've never seen this anywhere. This is very bizarre to me.
It's pretty unique.
So I've never seen it ever, anywhere, okay? Because like at Creepy World, we have a haunted house very similar to this, and we just have the whole thing graveled, okay? But you have it turfed. Explain that.
Everywhere a patron walks, on the trails, on the Midway, in between the attractions, the shows, is all carpeted. Indoor, outdoor carpet. It lasts, depending on if we have good quality, anywhere between 6 to 10 years. It beats concrete because if people are falling and tripping, it's less of an injury. That's our way mainly to control Mother Nature in pure Michigan. So when it rains, it controls the water far better than mulch or gravel in our experience in our climate.
Now, where do you get your customers from? Because you're kind of like in this place called Niles, which, you know, like
middle of nowhere.
It's in the middle of nowhere, but a lot of haunts are in the middle of nowhere. Okay, but what is your primary? Because how far are you from Chicago?
About 2 hours.
2 hours.
Yep.
And then you're really far away from Detroit.
It's about three and a half.
3.5.
Yep.
And then Grand Rapids, you're like maybe an hour. Yeah.
Yep.
So like, where do all the customers, how far out do you advertise this place?
About 100-mile radius.
100-mile radius?
Yep.
Okay.
Our population of Niles is about 13,000. A good pull does come from South Bend, Notre Dame, Indiana. That has, I think, a population. It's nowhere near like big cities or metropolitan, but is it over 100?
Close to 100.
Close to 100,000. So that's a lot of our pull comes from Notre Dame, but we do pull and advertise within a 100-mile radius.
Now you guys do a lot of people, and one of the biggest things in the haunt industry is that people always wonder, like, how good is a location, okay? And I would say your location's terrible from the perspective that it's not in the middle of Detroit.
Yep.
It's not in the middle of Los Angeles, right? It's in the middle of nowhere. And I've just been on a bunch of farm tours, right? And these farms too are the same thing. They're on the outskirts. But haunted houses are destination attractions. So when you build something over the top, bigger, people will come from really far away. And so at the end of the day, the location doesn't really matter, right? It doesn't matter for you.
And we've grown. We've been blessed to grow into that through the communities. You know, we didn't start out here. We were almost, the whole project was lost. We used to be in 2 semi-trailers in downtown Niles, backed up to one another. That's what it used to be back in the day. And we've grown since then, obviously. But location has a little bit of a key to it. I wouldn't say I would pick Niles as a place to open a haunted house if you had a choice of a huge metro area. But it's definitely, we have generations of families now that come to attend. And it's cool to really hear their stories. About how they started coming. It might have been their first date. They may have been married out here, may have proposed out here, and now they're bringing their kids, and it's really cool.
But the point that I was making is that people want to know how important is the location. It's really not that important at all if you build something that people want to go to.
If you build something, they will come, and for us, we want to keep them. It's not about just your one typical haunted house, you're in, you're out anymore. I mean, the Midway for us is key. We have 3 different gift shops, we have concessions, we have games, we have live entertainment, axe throwing, an outdoor movie screen for people to watch and hang out, eat food. It's pretty much, for us, it's free to enter the park. You don't have to pay just to get in and hang out, and some grandparents even do that. So for us, yeah, I would say location isn't necessarily a big deal. For us, we want as much
But you're getting
property
people
as we
from
can.
100 miles away.
100 miles away, and the 13, you know, with the population of 13,000 just here at Niles, and the 22 nights that we're open average every year. That's usually just Fridays, Saturdays in September, Friday, Saturday, Sundays in October. That's all we're open. We'll see about 15,000 people.
That's insane. You're doing better, and this is why I brought it up, because you're doing better attendance-wise than most haunts in big cities. And so a lot of haunted people that, you know, they're thinking, oh, I'm in a small town. It really doesn't matter. If you're building a family fun center, I mean, it probably would matter. You know, you're going to spend $5 million on a go-kart track. It probably matters, because I don't think people are going to drive 100 miles to go to that. But for a haunted attraction that has a reputation for being like, oh, this is a must-see, people will drive.
Absolutely, for sure.
And you're proving that you can be kind of, and to have the kind of location that you have here, you kind of need to be in a rural area, because explain the location. You're on like, what, 50 acre?
We're at 44 acres. And it used to, everything that you will see used to just be, like, I believe, a soybean farm. That's all it was. All the trees were planted by us, all the buildings are us, everything structural is from us since we moved out here in 97.
So to get a location like this in a big city would be nearly impossible.
Unless, you hit the lottery.
Yeah.
If you found one, it would be a fortune.
So kind of explain like what all you have going on here, because you have like, you do things a little different than most haunts. So you're saying they can come into the Midway for free.
Yep.
No problem there whatsoever. And then how many different haunts do you have, and how do you charge for them?
So there are 3 interior haunted houses. The one that started it, when we moved out here, we only had one haunted house, and that's the Niles Haunted House. The other 2 is what we call the Haunted Duplex. You'll see it's called the Pirates of Siren Seas and Viciously Voodoo. That's 2 separate shows, but linear all the way through. We have the outdoor Field of Screams, which is like, if you know where you're going, it's like an outdoor maze, linear trail, all different themes, carnival, snow. It's at least a 20-minute walk, 6/10 of a mile. We have Wicked Woods. Unfortunately, our hayride, we decided after 20 years we're closing it and developing a new attraction called Wicked Woods. It's going to be another outdoor trail, but it's going to be extremely different than the Field of Screams. So that way, we don't bore people. We have 4 or 5-minute escape rooms. We have Hooded, which is adults only. People had more of a demand for something a little bit more chaotic and crazy, not so family friendly. So Hooded is where we will hood a patron.
Wow.
And you sign a waiver, of course. You hood the patron. It's sensory overload. We take away your eyesight, but we enhance all other senses, and you're just following a rope inside that attraction the whole time. There are actors in there that are selling a story. The past couple years we've been doing a mad scientist kind of story behind it. But in terms of the packaging, you can buy them individually if you choose. It's certainly not the best bang for your buck.
And you have like a park pass?
But we have what we call a Frightful Nightful. A Frightful Nightful is 47 this year. 47 to do everything.
Ah. Do you charge for parking?
No.
No?
Free to park, free to enter.
Free to enter. Now you're Midway. How many different things do you have going on in here? Can we walk around it a little?
Absolutely. We're in Witch's Brew. I mean, we can start there. Witch's Brew is one of our, the other concessions we have are contracted. You won't see them on video, but we just have a profit share with them. But the only concession we more or less do is we have a sponsorship with Jones Soda. If you just look, and this is a really cool concept we share with a lot of haunts if you're looking to start small with concessions. We let those guys handle the major headache with the food license, but for here, it's a premium soda in your area. It might not be Jones, but you probably have a premium soda. We contacted them. We do sponsored souvenir cups, which I don't know if we have any out, but they do a dual branded 16-ounce cup.
Do you have a liquor license?
We do not. We're working on it.
So you plan on adding?
Yeah.
You plan on adding alcohol?
That has been several people's administrative pushes for years on Pete. If he sees this. So we've been working for it.
Seems like a lot of haunts are doing that now.
Yep.
When I remember when I was in the business, I mean, I'm still in, trying to get out as fast as I can, but I have a leg iron on. But that used to be taboo number 1. It's not to have alcohol at all.
And there's a lot of other haunts that we've spoken to, and since then, like Pete's, as we mentioned before, he's old school. If something's not broke, why fix it? And alcohol to him and family friendly, they don't mix. But now what he's seeing and what we're seeing in other haunts is, one, technology is there to regulate it. People aren't going to haunted houses to just get trashed. You know, they're not going to, especially at the price you're going to charge for it. And if you're not serving it, what we are seeing for a place that we still aren't serving it at yet is they're just getting hammered in the parking lot before they come in. They're pre-gaming like a football game.
Yeah.
And then they come in, and then they might leave, and they'll go top off and come back in again. So why not take advantage of that? And what I'm hearing for haunts that finally made that push, and Tony, I think Tony William was one of them, when I was talking with him, and even Dwayne with 13th Gate, they were totally against it. And then finally when they made that push, what they saw was it was more controlled. You didn't have those people pre-gaming out there causing problems and coming in here. Like, they were actually controlling themselves once they were in the park.
Wow.
So,
how many staff members does it take to run Niles Screampark?
it is on like a Saturday in October. What's the bottom line now?
Around 220.
220.
My goodness. Holy cow.
Yeah, it takes a village for sure.
Wow.
And it is, the big thing about Niles too is not only is that family-friendly atmosphere by our patrons, for the generations of families about here, but it's also our staff. When we are open, those 220 people are volunteers. And it's a legacy of generations of families of volunteers that come out here to work, and how that program works is they're not just coming out here and nothing's happening and, you know, Niles is making, you know, lots and lots of money. That's not how that works. They're working for a particular group. So like Ross and I are working for, let's say, the Make-A-Wish Foundation. We come, we sign up how many nights we're going to work. We come work those nights. Those hours that we pooled together by the two of us, or however many, based on the success of the year, determines the hourly rate in which that group is paid. And then they get a check written to the Make-A-Wish Foundation, to that person that's a group leader, representative of them. And we'll say that's Ross, and he'll take that check to Make-A-Wish Foundation, and then all those donations at the end of the year.
How much money have you guys raised for charity?
Over $2.5 million.
And then, but you have full-time employees as well, right?
Correct.
Are you a full-time here?
Yep, Ross and I.
Both of us are.
Yep.
And how many full-time employees do you guys have?
There are 10 to 12.
And what do they do?
There is a construction team, a design set team, and a special effects team. So it's kind of concurrent. What you will see is our shows are definitely like a hybrid. It's got a mixture of old school and new school scare tactics. But what you're also going to see is we know we're not the most beautiful, gorgeous, eye candy haunt that there is. And the reason for that is our business model, since like before my time, but Pete's instituted business model, is never-ending change. People not only come because it's family friendly and they've been coming forever, but they have news for something to look forward to year after year. They're not going to come and see the same rooms, the same haunted house. We will take literally like 2 of our shows and completely gut it to the drywall and rebuild every single year. And we use that staff to work through the brutal cold winter months to this heat wave, to make that magic happen. So when people do come, they're like, holy cow, it's a brand new show.
Do you guys do any special events like, you know, Krampus and Valentine's and stuff like that?
We wish.
No?
We wish. We've talked about it even for family-friendly Christmas. The biggest thing that's of a concern to us is you'll put all this money into it, and there's a thing called Mother Nature and lake effect snow. And then we'll just get bombarded. That would be our luck. We'd get bombarded on a weekend full of lake effect snow and have a foot of snow on the ground, and then it's like with outdoor carpet and a non-paved parking lot, grass, how do you get people in here? That's our concern. But we've always wanted to.
So let's see all the stuff in your Midway, because I noticed you have a lot of stuff going on.
I said a lot of stuff isn't set up.
It says hooded, and that's the hooded haunted house is $10.
Yep.
Escape room is $5. And then you have, what is this?
So
Spooky Splat.
It's going to get rethemed this year, but it's decayed from last year. But there's moving targets in there, and people just shoot paintballs.
So this is paintball.
Yeah.
And I guess these are the chains to make sure the paintballs don't run off.
Correct.
Okay.
So it's all decayed from last year. We haven't touched it at all.
Do you put live actors in there?
If they're able to, if they're willing.
If they're willing, okay.
It's like a struggle bus, even if they're paid to go in there and get shot by paintballs.
And these are stores?
Yep.
The Poisoned Apple. And now these are vendor stores?
These are ours.
These are yours?
Yep. So the Poisoned Apple is actually ran by our lead makeup artist, Jamie Taylor. So when she's done doing makeup, she'll come and open her shop. And some of the stuff is we bought. Some of the stuff they make, like the Voodoo doll, she'll make them, and then it's just like a consignment agreement.
Okay. And then you have, I'm guessing, is the Niles This is your big one.
This is the primary one called the Broomstick Boutique.
Where you-
This is the bread and butter and the exit out of the park.
By the way, Patty's with us, and she loves retail stores.
I do.
I
And
get jealous every time I see Patty. You know, I call Patty store. Sorry, Larry, but there's just so much stuff in there, and it's like I want it all.
yeah, I see you have a lot of different shirts. And I really like how you've done your t-shirts here. That's nice, neat, and organized. And short sleeve, long sleeve, short, you know, it's like, yeah, it's great. Then people can get whatever they want. What's your biggest seller? Obviously t-shirts, but besides t-shirts and hoodies.
Besides shot glasses, for whatever reason.
Shot
They
glasses.
just go like, I can never keep them stocked. It's like, I think I would start off with, you know, ordering 300 shot glasses and I have to order more, and it just,
And then this is a photo op.
yep. I said a lot of stuff is still in storage, it's still put away, but a lot of our selfie station props after MHC we're just throwing back in here instead of on the Midway.
I'm a big believer that in the gift shop, it doesn't matter if you sell drinks elsewhere, in your gift shop you can have the drinks too, so they don't have to wait in 2 separate lines.
Yeah.
If they just want to drink drinks as well.
And is this the hayride that's going away?
Correct.
So is it going to be replaced this year?
Yep.
Okay.
So, the barn will probably stay, at least for now. Just too many things on our plate in terms of developing a new show. So the barn will probably stay here. We're actually talking about moving the porta-johns behind it, so that way they're kind of hidden.
What was the reason for getting rid of the hayride? The cost of operating it, or?
That's one of the factors. One is they're unforeseen circumstances. So we have a family that runs the hayride. They've been out here for over 20 years. It's unforeseen what their future is going to be, and the expense and the headache. It's basically, in short, it is the longest attraction to get ready every single year, with over 50 sets going from the front of the property all the way to the back. It's about a mile long, and the expense of maintaining the wagons, the tractors, and how long it takes for the least scare factor and the least favorite attraction, we had to make a change.
Is this like a stage?
So we have an outdoor movie screen so people can watch.
Is the movies there?
Yep. So people can watch classic horror movies, eat, hang out. We do sometimes we'll have magicians on the stage that'll perform.
And then here you have a photo op.
Yep.
And then now you see that guy right there? We did a video, because that's like from Home Depot, right?
Yep.
We did a video on Hauntworld channel where we took that and we rethemed it. I got a lot of views too. And I bought more of them actually but we haven't got a chance to retheming them, but it was a fun video to make. Is this a photo op?
Yep, there's normally a straight jacket hanging down inside of there, and then we have an upside down room for another photo op.
Oh, that's cool. And then what's this?
2 Axe Run.
Is that still popular?
Yeah. Out of the games that we have left, yes. We used to have shoot hoops to fry Freddy, basketball hoops. We had fry your friend, electric chair. We had the scream machine where you'd hit a button and watch and monitor people in the show and actually scare them with like an air cannon. The last ride, everyone haunts. We used to have a lot more games, and for us, that was just added entertainment value until we started doing more gift shops and retail that kind of consumed.
I guess the coffin is a photo op.
Yep, another one, and there's more towards the other end of the Midway, but I figured.
And what is this?
So we have the other gift shop in here is called Ghoulish Gifts. It's more like your collectibles that you blow a whole paycheck.
Oh, that is cool.
And then, for our 50th year last year, we made this museum.
Oh, that is cool.
So people can just take in our history.
Wow, that's really neat. You know, we made a video of the same thing, and all we did was put it on YouTube. And look at this. They have all these clips and everything of all these years that they've been here. Wow. So you could learn about it and kind of brand the attraction. And I see you got Kane Hodder here. Wow. This is very cool.
I didn't realize that me and Niles are both 50 this year.
Look at this. Welcome to the Hall of Fear. Wow. Now, this is a really clever idea. Is Pepsi a sponsor of yours?
Yes.
So I noticed they have coolers everywhere.
And we have a self-serve kiosk, so when people get their pictures taken, before they enter the house, they can use their QR code and look up their picture. And then the rest of the structure is ghoulish gifts. So it's like the string dog gangs, the mini Lego figures, furry bones.
And then here you've got the queue lines.
These the dolls.
Though the plushes are new that we did this year.
Okay.
Because I know plushes are just stupid.
Yeah, we saw a ton of
For whatever
those.
reason, so.
We saw a ton of those.
Whose are these plushes from?
Furry bones.
Yeah, furry bones.
Furry bones?
Yep.
I like
And so one of the things you were kind of explaining to me a little bit was this the queue line, and then that barn or something over there, they go through a metal detector line
Yep. So when everyone parks, they will go through 2 walk-through metal detectors
just to get into the park.
just to get into the park.
So everybody, even the people who come in for free,
Yep.
they walk through this queue line and you let them in, but you anyone who comes in, it gets metal detected.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Once they're beyond the box office, then it's their free roam, kind of like we're doing right now.
Awesome. So let's check out your haunts.
Okay.
And how many do we have here?
To be on the show today, we'll do 3 interiors in the Field of Screams.
All right. Now, what do you do about bathrooms?
Oh, we're out in the middle of nowhere, so Porta Johns.
Porta Johns? How many do you have to get?
The Midway.
The season. Part of the season.
I said the Midway is about 12 or 14 just up here.
You know what somebody told me
It's
is you judge people talk about how
busy a
successful
haunted house is.
by how many porta potties they have.
Yep.
They go, yeah, we're doing 50,000 people and they got 3 porta potties. It's like, then that's how you know they're lying.
Yeah, it used to be literally from where that speaker is and that roof, all the way down to the back and probably in a little bit where all the Porta Johns. But now we're expanding the Midway that direction, so we'll relocate them.
Do you guys like to go visit other haunts? Do you
Absolutely.
Yeah.
like how do you get away to go do that? I mean, do you do it through like Transworld and the events that they do, or do you guys like leave here and go see haunts?
Privately, like Ross Niles sometimes takes some enthusiast trips. We'll go to Chicago, we'll go to Detroit. But normally every year we'll take 2 different road trips in the middle of the season, which sounds crazy because we're only open Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. So we'll take a road trip where we take our full-time crew and we'll go anywhere from Wisconsin, Illinois, sometimes push into Missouri, to south of Indy, Ohio, a good radius around us, not too far. And we'll spend, I think it's, 3 days visiting other haunted houses, and usually we visit 6, if we're 6 or 7, if we're lucky on those 3 days.
What haunts did you visit last year?
Went to visit Dwayne at 13th Gate.
It's awesome.
Remember, yes, that was my bucket list. I checked.
Ohio last year.
Ohio was last year. So we went to go see John Eslich at Akron and Factory of Terror, and I'm trying to remember who else.
Haunted Forest.
Haunted Forest with Alan. It all becomes a blur.
Went to Indie Scream on the way home.
Indie
and then we
Scream
went to
on the way
13th
home.
Hour.
Did you like that one?
And 13th Hour. Yep. I really loved their Midway setup. I mean, their Midway was like this.
Yeah.
How they did their shipping containers and their covered, waiting, and with electric built in with fans. I was like, man, this is like our tents put us to shame. So there's some cool ideas.
What's a favorite haunt that you went to visit?
It had to be. Unfortunately, the site crew couldn't go because the other trip we take a plane trip. So the site crew doesn't go on the plane trip. That's usually the owner and myself, and we went to go visit Dwayne in New Orleans or Baton Rouge, and it was just, that was my bucket list. So I was so happy to check that off.
Yeah.
If I had to give another one, would definitely be Eric at Haunted Overload.
Yeah, that place is great.
That is just organic. An organic trail, like from start to finish. You're like, how did you build these monstrous 30 to 40 foot structures out of wood, out of what you have available in your woods?
Now, we did a behind the scenes video on Hauntworld of 13th Gate and Haunted Overload.
I'm gonna have to check them out. I mean, just for.
And Hell's Gate, that was a really good one too.
And Hell's Gate, we just that's our annual trip. So when we're open, we have we have sign-up sheets around the park for all of our workers, and first come, first serve, they'll come sign up, and we'll go take these trips while we're open to like Hell's Gate.
Have you ever been to Field of Screams in Pennsylvania?
I haven't, but that's another one.
That one
He
is.
has, I haven't.
That one's phenomenal.
Yep.
And if I one of these days I'm gonna make my real top 10. Like here's the top 10 that I've seen. I mean, Field of Screams. You can make an argument. It just depends on like what floats your boat. It's like say for example you like horror movies. Well, what kind of horror movies? Slasher, paranormal. Yeah. There's so many different kinds, right? And there's so many different kinds of haunts as well. So it just depends on what kind of haunt you like is what it's going to appeal to you the most. So it'd be really hard for me to make that list because I'm a little unique to most haunters in the business. I have a haunt like this, which is called Creepy World, and I also have the indoor, and I have one that's in like a special location. So like when you talk about like Penhurst or something like that, I have a haunt in a special creepy location and an outdoor one with all the problems plus an indoor. So I like them all, right? So it's really hard for me to decide, that top 10, but Field of Screams would definitely be in there.
Yeah, there's no way I could do that, because even if there might not be, there might be a relatively new haunt, and a new haunt doesn't have necessarily the budget to do what a lot of the big haunts can do. So what they do is they use their sense of creativity, and some of that creativity is like ingenious. And you'll see some of that creativity eventually like develop onto like Transworld show floor and being sold as a product.
Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, I can never pick just one. I couldn't possibly do
I know, it's going to be really hard. Is this a photo op?
So yeah, those are the bodies that were in the gift shop. So we have
yeah.
Bikini Betty and Topless Tom.
And there's another photo op over there.
And then there's two more. I didn't see these guys in there. And then we have a Dracula and a Voodoo character.
Awesome.
So, and then we have 3 food trailers, concessions that are on the back.
And we are actually still walking
Still
on
on
turf. So what haunt are we gonna go visit?
Well, I guess while we're here, do you want to work our way back?
Yeah.
The furthest point of the park, we do the field and then work through the interior.
And we don't need to do the hayride since it's completely under construction.
So the Field of Screams is heavily actor driven. There's only one animation out here. But it's about 6/10 of a mile walk.
Oh, that's long.
It is long.
And does it go this way or that way?
We're just shortcutting. So normally it'd enter right here, and then it would start.
One of the things I noticed, and you can just keep walking and we'll just keep talking. One of the things I noticed, one of the things I noticed right here is you're really letting the grass grow. Is that on purpose?
Yes.
Okay.
It gets a little overwhelming in some spots because it's hiding. There are some built tombstones, but there are real ones tucked in there too, and it kind of takes away from it. So there does become a point before we open where we trim.
Do you have snakes out here?
Occasionally.
Do you have any poisonous ones?
Not that I've experienced yet.
They're really small, but
Yeah.
you don't really see them.
You've never seen any rattlesnakes out here?
I haven't.
Yeah.
Don't jinx that.
Well, we have at Creepy World we have copperheads,
Oh man.
but they don't pop up during the season because they hibernate.
That's good.
But yeah, we've had a few copperheads and black snakes and snapping turtles.
I love the audio.
So this is a completely outdoor haunt.
Yep.
Okay. So how many actors would be in here?
Is it 26?
Field has around 26, 28.
26 to 28.
So Ross not only is the office manager full time in the off season, but when we are open, he is our actor manager. So he's the one that staffs and positions all our actors.
Now we just walked past a real tree and we were talking about haunted overload. Boy, he has cut down no trees. He builds the scenes right around or utilizes the trees.
And I just can't imagine. I've seen his TikToks are amazing. I'm jealous of him. But how he gets telephone poles and huge amounts of lumber in some of his sets now is incredible.
Yeah, his place is incredible. You gotta watch that video that we did of haunted overload. He showed us everything. We walked through the entire thing. And he showed us every crack and corner. He showed us how he does stuff. It was a great video. And look at this. We're in the haunt and we're still walking over.
And I say, where we're at now, we're taking a shortcut. But
Yeah.
the Field of Screams, when it was first built like 15 years ago, that's all it was. It was just a maze.
Yeah.
And it's grown. But this maze is nothing compared to its size. But the normal way people take, and we're just doing a shortcut, is there's a corn crib. You can hear all that electric coming from. There's a bird cannon inside of it with a strobe and a hazer.
It's kind of a confusing maze. We have them at Creepy World as well, where you can kind of sort of get lost.
Yeah. There's no lights in there.
Yeah, they're fun. People love them.
But that bird cannon will go off, and it's just a huge explosion. Typical laser swamp.
Okay, so this is a laser swamp. You pump fog in it, I'm guessing. Which haunt out here is everybody's favorite?
Between the main house and the Field of Screams.
So this one or the main house?
Yeah.
And the main house is called Niles?
Niles, yep.
Okay. Which one's your favorite?
That's a tough. It's a tough pick. I mean, it is.
When you do your actors, do you focus on makeup or masks?
It's more of a hybrid. It's been a lot of masks for a couple of the recent years, but we just developed a new makeup program with increased pay, and so the makeup's going to be elevated a lot more than it used to. But I mean, it's still probably a good hybrid between silicones and half masks.
Do you have the actors do their own makeup, or do you have makeup artists?
Makeup artists.
How many do you have?
9.
Nine? What is Sinibaldi? Is there any reference to the area?
Not to my knowledge. To Jamie, who made that sign, she probably would be able to tell you. During those road trips that we take, which is for us, it's R&D and inspiration.
This is cool.
During those road trips, we will already plot out the themes for the next year. And by the time we close, we know what the interior shows are going to be changed in. Like, it's not going to be, Pirates is this year, but next year it's going to be this. That's decisions made in October of the current year. And then in November, after we clean everything up, we will, like, stuff that has to come in for, props and stuff that'll get destroyed outside. When we're done cleaning up, we will gut the interior shows by December. They're all gutted inside. And then we'll make our purchases ahead of Transworld, usually in November. So really it doesn't stop.
How long does it take you to take it down from one year to the next? And do you leave your props out like this all year and put bags over them?
No. So we just for MHC we did that.
Okay.
So we didn't want to have to tear it all down and redo it twice.
Do it
a
again?
year.
Yes.
So normally, like, all the bodies would come inside.
So that's an airbag.
Yep. And what's cool about this is I haven't seen another haunt. Inspiration for anyone watching. We always tell people about it. Is there's an air chamber in here where an actor can actually go inside and they can interact. You can see people clear as day coming through. You can take like a pool noodle and interact and talk to them. But an actor's actually can be inside of an air box.
So once you close for the season, you take all your props and store them?
Yep.
How long does that take you?
2 to 3 weeks.
And then, but my question is, like, when do you start putting it all back out?
So the interior shows, we have...
They're left up year round, right?
The interiors are gutted, but they're worked on first, since it's, by the time it's winter. So we will have the interiors done by April, usually. And then we'll start working outside after April.
So like in May, you start putting everything back out.
Yep.
I get it.
And of course, a lot of the structural stuff stays. It's just the props.
People, do you see that people like react? They get the most terrified from what type of actor? Clowns?
Yeah. I mean, Ross, you probably answer that better than me.
This depends on kind of what their ultimate fear is. I mean, this is a big area with clowns, but I mean, any type of startle, if they're coming out of a wall or coming after you, I think people Just let their fear take over a little bit.
I've always found that people are the most afraid of clowns. We literally get emails saying, okay, we want to come to the haunted house as long as you don't have clowns. I have to tell them, well, at Creepy World we don't have any clowns. At Lemp we don't have any clowns.
And we try not to drag some of those, typical, I don't know, things like clowns too far. Like this is, I think, our 4th year for doing this carnival area. It's almost due for it to be completely redone and do a different theme. And even though for the outdoor stuff, yeah, like the inside is fully gutted and redone, but the outside isn't. There's just not enough time. So when we build a carnival, the next year it won't be exactly the same. It used to just be a huge open area, but last year we added the curtain chaos that we first walked through, and then we added this clown house, and then we added this stage. So we're about at the halfway point of the field, and we did a re-queue here so we can try to separate the lines.
Like a carnival marker here that pretty much interacts with every single patron that comes through to slow it down a little bit.
And I've never heard of a haunted house as big as yours. You said it was, how many acres is the haunted house taking up?
44.
No, I'm not talking about the parking. I'm talking about just the haunted area.
So everything minus the parking?
Yeah. 20 acres? That's
A
crazy.
little over.
About 20.
Yeah.
22.
That's insane.
So we put a tarp over this to protect the netting for the UV ray because it'll fade it. But normally there's no tarp and there's just strobing UVs going on in here with your guy in a ghillie suit.
Oops, here, let me jump out. Oh, look at this.
One of the most talked about things in our field is Birch Street Forest.
Birch Street Forest.
So you take schedule 40, 4-inch pipe over a T-post. That's it.
Wow. And now do you have like a strobe light in here?
There are 5 or 6 of them, yeah.
Holy cow.
And with the way they hit the poles, basically you kind of see like how that shadowing is on the ground.
Yeah.
They'll stagger different directions over and over again.
And then how many times do you have to put them back up a night?
Never.
Never?
Yeah, we're fortunate.
Wow.
These last few scenes, genius. Like inexpensive genius.
Yeah.
I love them. I love the black light area. I love the one before that with the casters. So I'm staring there. I love that last one with the trees. It's just cool and eerie at the same time. Like inexpensive genius.
In here we call it Snowman Forest. There's a snow machine on both corners of the row with the strobe. There's a guy in here, it's Krampus. We used to use the tall stalker guy. I can't remember where he came from. Mortis? Dark Mortis?
Ex-Mortis.
Ex-Mortis. Gosh darn it. It's been forever. But he's one of those. He's still kicking.
You know what I noticed is on the floor here, you have a lot of blackberries.
We do.
Do you have a lot of blackberry trees?
Mulberries. Mulberry trees.
Mulberry, okay.
Mulberry is a bush. Bush is very good.
So power's not onto it, but this is what we call a rattle bridge. The whole steel frame is on springs, and there is a dump truck. We call it Big Bertha. It's a dump truck vibrator. The whole vibrator will rattle the living hell out of you. And this runs off of a battery when it's powered.
Yeah, this haunted house is extremely long.
I feel like we're in a railroad. Like
That's where our laser swamp used to be before Froggies came out with the newer version of doing them. So the way the incline was the actor was below the flat line. So we just turned it into like this little mine shaft.
And they got an alligator.
right down Crystal Lake now, Larry.
And then there's a dune can.
And the natural adds to all the theming.
These are real cattails and reeds that we make planter boxes for.
Water for them to keep growing?
Surprisingly, they maintain themselves.
Oh, good.
Unless we have too much consistent of a heat wave.
recall, Jason, before he had the hockey mask, he had a burlap sack on his head. For those people who don't understand the Friday the 13th. He was barely in the first movie. He just jumped out of the water at a brief moment in the second one. And then in the third one, he was wearing a burlap sack. And it wasn't until the third one that the iconic mask was used. For those who don't know about the Friday the 13th lore. And I think Corey Feldman was in part 3, was he not? Can't remember. Yeah, he was in part 3.
I didn't know
I think
any
so.
of that, Larry.
Kevin Bacon was in part 1. He was the famous, a lot of the most famous actors in Hollywood have got their start in horror movies. Leonardo DiCaprio was in like Critters 2, I think. Johnny Depp was in the original Nightmare on Elm Street. Kevin Bacon was in Friday the 13th. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. But anyway.
Hey, it takes a lot to be, like, more demanding to be an actor in a horror movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, when you're trying to break into Hollywood and you're going to work for basically nothing, you start with horror.
Yeah.
You start with horror. That's where it starts and where it stops. And this looks very authentic because of all the natural, oh, I like this.
Check that
Now
out.
this is great right here. Look at that, guys.
Oh my God.
So it's just barrels
I love it.
and it moves and they got gators in here.
I've got to quote it because when we were open for the bus tour, I was surprised that Ben Armstrong came. There was rumor he was coming, but I saw him go into the field, and I waited for him to come out. And I was like, man, he should have been out by now. In the direction we're in now. And I finally come down to the Midway, and I'm like, Ben, we're worried, man. I thought we lost you. And it's like, I don't know where the hell I am. I felt like I just walked through 46 haunted houses.
Yeah, it's
So that's,
long.
like, quoted by him. I loved it.
It's very, very, very long.
Can you guess the ticket price for
What's
just
that?
buying this by itself? What do you think it's valued at?
Well, I mean, this haunt alone, I can tell you is longer than the Darkness Haunted House, which is mine. I'm just using my own as a reference. You know, and we charge $32.
That's one of yours. You remember?
Oh, did we sell that to you?
There's a couple of yours.
Oh, okay.
Still ticking. Still ticking, man. Still ticking.
So, I mean, this thing is just astronomically long.
So if you were to buy this just by itself, without in the package, it's $15.
It's 15?
15.
Okay. And how many actors do you put in this particular haunt?
26 to 28.
26 to 28.
Yeah.
And the blackberries are free. So if you look on the ground, they're
A
everywhere.
free snack along the way.
And by the way, they're delicious. But look at this. They need to get pickers in here because they got a second business that they're not even capitalizing on, which is, they don't even understand they're a working farm. They should do pick your own days. Now look at this. This is really cool right here.
Oh, wow.
Look at this. Over a swamp, you gotta walk, look at my feet. You gotta walk directly in the middle and you gotta hold on to the net
That's cool.
to make it through. We use this same material like on our swamp house, for example, as a transition because it's very strong. In our Wizard of Oz escape room, we use that material. And look what they've done with it. They've made a whole entire bridge out of it.
Yeah, that's so smart.
That's very, do you like that?
Cost effective, too.
Man, how much longer is this thing?
We're almost there.
Almost done.
90%.
I like the little kid's bike.
Maybe bridges like that could be used for farm attractions, too.
Yeah.
And you kind of touched on it already, you know, we try to, and the Field of Screams a lot of opportunity to be, a lot of landscape to be as custom and creative as you want. And we try to make the field
Do you have
on a lot of phobias, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, do you have a lot of chainsaws?
We have one set of them at the end of the main haunt.
You know, it's getting harder to buy them.
It is.
Because, you know, like California, I hate to say this, but wacko California, that's just true. They mandate, regulate like everything. And they banned, you know, with the lawn equipment, they want everything to be electric. And so, you know, a lot of people, like a lot of companies, follow what California does. Like, oh, and I guess it's coming down the pike for everybody. And now when I go into a Home Depot, even in Missouri, there's no gas chainsaws. They're all electric. So I had to go to Amazon.com and order gas chainsaws. We are in an extremely dark area where you cannot
I love
see.
the sound.
This is our heartbeat tunnel.
Woo! It's loud right there. Heart pounding.
There's a spark fence in there with those poppers, an actor inside the wall. And we like to create a lot of versatile space with our actors, and it's a choice. So like a lot of these mausoleums, we have a couple actors in here, but they have built-in drop panels, shelter that they can use if it rains.
And this thing just goes on forever. How long of a walk did you say this was?
6/10 of a mile.
6/10 of a mile.
3,600 linear
28.
feet, something about that.
Oh, that's nice. That's not too bad.
The reason why I was asking if you had poisonous snakes because of all the vegetation. Yeah, because you know, like they go after those rats and rodents. But at Creepy World, we encounter them 2-3 times a year. Copperheads.
Got lots of frogs. I think we've got the world's largest frogs out here, it seems like. With all the
Really?
little ponds, yeah.
And we made it.
Finally,
Finally.
we came out of a haunted house. Oh my God, dude. I might need to take a nap.
You know, frogs are more scary than you think. They carry a lot of salmonella.
They're loud.
It dumps you right into the consumption.
Well, you know what they do? They offer a lot of natural sound effects.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
So do crickets. And so that's your hayride, and it's completely under renovation.
Yep.
Okay.
So we're expanding. We see the gap here. We're expanding the Midway. That direction, that white structure used to be the hayride's break room, but that's going to get all lifted. The Midway is going to expand that way, and then we're creating a facade in this expansion that'll be the start and exit to Wicked Woods, which goes way back beyond.
And it's just going to be a walkthrough?
Yep. But the big difference between that and what you just did, the Field of Screams, is the Field of Screams kind of contains you. You're on a roped path. Wicked Woods is going to be no man's land. You're able to walk off the beaten path. There's still a sense of control, but you can't see it. So you feel a little bit less protected.
Wow. So what's the next haunt we're going to...
Next we'll start here. The starting trail is here that leads us into what we call the Haunted Duplex. It has 2 smaller haunts built into one. It's a linear show, 2 different themes.
Now I'm imagining all this, you're covering these with tents?
Yep.
Tarps? Okay.
Yep.
When do you typically put those out?
In August.
And there's a warning here that says do not touch the actors or other guests. And it warns of heart conditions, asthma, prone to seizures, and so on and so forth. Which is a good thing. And look at this. We're talking thousands of pounds of these blackberries. They're everywhere. Like, holy cow. Look, they're on the trees.
Yeah, you can pop
Look at
them out
this.
and eat it.
They're everywhere. Holy cow. I would just be out here eating lunch.
I know, right?
Because those things are delicious.
Definitely a snack after all the walking.
Larry, those are good. I just ate one. God.
Oh, I'm jealous. I love anything berry. Blueberries, cherries, even though it's... There's millions of blackberries.
It's our carpet painter after you squish them enough.
Yes, exactly. Do you sweep those off before the season, or do you just leave them?
They'll be gone.
Yeah, we'll go through several backpack blowers and just hit everything. That's the hard part because literally everything for MHC was cleaned away, trees were trimmed back, and now how much it's grown just in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
I noticed another thing too that's kind of interesting. On these little poles right here, you have like little lights on like some sort of bent metal thing.
Yep.
And that's how you light up the outside.
So that's what Ross and I do as our, you know, other than working in the office and more of the administrative side, is we will do a lot of the outdoor lighting. And they're just pre-lit LEDs, essentially attached to a T-post.
Oh my gosh. Look at this old fireplace from the, what, 70s? 60s? Oh my God, where'd you get that? I love that thing. You went picking.
We used to do this at all my haunts in the past, taking these leftover lumber pieces, making walls out of them. I really like that.
Yeah, I do too.
You said used to?
Well, yeah, you know, they're hard to work with.
Yes.
They're hard to get anything through them. And they fall off a lot.
So a lot of this front trail before we go into the first show is served as like a visual cue. On the Saturdays in October, you know, we will travel all the way back to where we're walking.
So on this wire, this is the wire right here.
Yep.
Is taped to the wire that keeps you from, and that's how you're running all the wiring.
A good chunk of it. You know, where there's walls and stuff, it'll go up and carry other places, but for like the pathway lights, it used to be low onto the ground, but weed whackers, people tripping on it, it was just a mess. It still does break, because when people get scared or they're leaning on this, it'll stress it out. It's not as bad as how it used to be. And this is just coax. Super cheap, like instead of rope, just using coax. It's extremely durable.
Wow, that's a good idea.
Especially since a lot of people don't use coax anymore. You can get it for almost nothing.
So do you guys go to Transworld every year?
Yep.
How much do you guys normally spend on new props with vendors?
So when we go, our purpose of Transworld is to hopefully try to catch. Oftentimes it's cash and carry, or looking at new innovative props to the industry.
I just ate one.
Before we attend Transworld, we've already made a lot of our purchases with either Ghost Ride, Unit 70, or Poison props. So like a lot of the major purchases are done before we even go.
But how much do you think you normally spend a year? Just buying props.
Just buying props? Does that include animations?
Yeah, everything. Masks, costumes, anything new.
Trying to think.
100 grand?
It's not that extreme, because we're building a pretty solid inventory now that we don't know what to do with.
What do you?
I would say it's about 50.
What do you hope that haunted house vendors make? What are some of the things that you don't think they're making enough of that you want to see more of? What's that?
So trying to piggyback on the question, what do we want to see more of?
More animatronic stuff, I think, would be really cool. Like if we had actors in all of our rooms, some sort of animation with those, I think that'd be pretty cool.
I noticed your floor. This is awesome to do this. So the floor is smooth. Everywhere you walk, the floor is bending. But it bends, but it doesn't break. See that? And look what they did for a roof. They got that fencing that you buy, and you made a roof out of it. Yep. Is this a pirate theme?
Yep.
And then you're back to more floors that bend.
Find it.
I'm imagining this is for an actor.
Used to be.
Now I see a phone. What's the phone for?
So there are some hybrid old school stuff. So everywhere inside where there is an actor, we have in-house network system for phones. So how that works is they will call the main office, describe a problem, or if they need a break, they're descriptive, and they will dispatch security to come to the room.
And then every actor has a fire extinguisher.
Yep, every actor is shown.
And what's that piece of paper back there?
So that's what we call room directions. So when they're shown to their spot, they're shown how to operate the room, to closest fire exit, 2 closest fire extinguishers, what to do for an evacuation, what to do in the room in general. But in case they forgot all that, because it's a lot to digest when you're showing someone to their spot, that piece of paper will tell them. It shows them what to...
Take a look at it.
Yep. I'm trying to get this thing off real quick. There it goes. So,
now, I have to say, that's pretty cool.
So it'll show what props and costumes are supposed to have, jobs and tips.
And then they got a phone. Hey, what's up?
So that's
Nobody
ultimately
answered.
what that does for us with the interior shows with the phone is it limits radio traffic. Because if you gave every actor a radio, oh man. So that kind of eliminates like the radio traffic where it needs to be about business. I mean, we have different channels with different, you know, like our main channel is 7 for security and medical, but there are other channels. Like we had the Hayride, there was a talking channel just to the actors who were working alone on the sets could actually talk to somebody.
Yeah, partners are all on a different channel.
Yep. So
That's ingenious. I wish I had that at my place.
but this actor is unique. He has a fan. There's a fan mister up there, so it actually oscillates water mist in the room. But he has a remote. This actor is controlling this whole room. Right. This actor is controlling him. He's usually at the top of the helm. He has him. And he has the drop panel behind him.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I like that. Hey, can you trigger it again? Hold on a second. Trigger that guy first. See, guys, I'm going to show you something. A TikTok content 101, okay? Start right here. See, that's great right there. Hey, Patty, stand there. Hey, do that one again. Can you do that one again? So stand there like you don't know anything's happening. This is great content for TikTok. Hold on. No, stand there and talk to him like you don't even know it. No, stand in the middle because his arms go right over your shoulder. Back up. Now center. There you go. Now just talk away.
So that's really cool. I love that.
There you go. TikTok 101.
Show us up, watch it.
Or Instagram, really.
Yeah.
Either one. Now look up here. He's got nets. He's got little lobsters.
Oh, did you see the shark? You missed the shark.
That trigger is like right at the doorway. We can get him up.
Larry, you missed the shark.
What shark?
The shark.
No, I ain't. I've seen him.
No, you missed the attack.
Why are these on?
What?
Why are
Back
these
it up,
on?
Larry, back it up.
What we did the other day?
They didn't turn on? They're okay. These are. Oh, I see them. They're flickering.
So they got a nice little
If you go forward a
CGI
little bit, it'll go off again.
where a shark attacks in the porthole. And there's a little water nozzle. Hold on a second. So this is another example right here. I don't know how to trigger it, is the problem. How do you trigger this? Hold on. There we go.
Yeah, right there.
Trigger. There we go. See, that is like perfect. Now look at this. The whole floor is vibrating. The whole entire floor.
So we have actor up here dressed as a siren, a mermaid, and they're wearing the harness and have a silicone mermaid mask. They'll come lunging out.
Okay, great.
Above that sound with it.
And there's a button to activate a sound effect.
Yep.
What was that?
But to let the room reset. These are a custom prop. Basically, a nylon sock attached to a PVC pipe and an air cannon with what's called a yo-yo. That's like it pulls the. There it goes. It pulls the sock back down.
Ah.
I'm a big believer. You know how hard it is to get access. I'm a big
Yes.
believer on air cannon, bear cannon, bear cannon. That's what keeps scared.
You can't have a good pirate ship without rats.
Updated.
Absolutely.
And then you got this mirror for a great actor scare.
But not on that.
Oh my God, I just got spit on for the second day in a row. Yesterday when I was at the farm, a camel or whatever,
Llama.
a llama spit in my mouth. It almost looks like an escape room.
It does, doesn't it? This is active control as well. It's like the captain's quarters.
Hey, what happened?
See, this is. Can you set that guy up again? See. Look at the shark. Start right here.
Wow.
There you go, TikTok. So how long have you had the pirate haunt?
So
Now this is up on chains, I'm
this
guessing?
one's on chains.
Okay. And so you can just rock it back and forth. We had an elevator in the darkness just like it. It's great.
Cut the it off the top.
Yep, there you go. If you guys look, that's what's rocking it, right there.
So I feel like I told a little bit of a fib because they said these shows are completely gutted to drywall every year. Well, because MHC was coming, and instead of having 9 months to prepare, we only got less than 6. This show was pirate last year, but it was extremely enhanced. We didn't just say, well, it's exactly the same. So the shark didn't exist. The first 2 rooms were not at 12 feet, so we increased the height of the walls, added the ceilings. So we went through and did a lot of renovation to it. But after this year, we'll be going, unfortunately.
Wow.
Normally these are like the Voodoo show, which is next. That's completely new for this year. But even after this year, it'll be gone. So it sucks, but I wish sometimes I could just enhance and build off.
And they have sand on the floor, or dirt. And so that's your pirate haunt.
Yep. They're short and sweet.
How many square feet was it? Oh, and you have a pirate village. Is there like a last actor in here?
It's actually going to be like the next attraction, so we'll circle out.
Yep.
And then we'll come back right up along here.
So how many square feet was the pirate?
It's not always 90. Let me give you a. Let me look at a map to give you a truthful answer.
at that map.
I know, we can look at it. Let me circle back out.
It was pretty big.
What is it?
So are we in another haunt?
This is the middle trail for what we just did. So this is re-queuing you for the Voodoo side, the other half
Okay.
of the building.
How big is the building itself? 10,000?
The main haunt is 10,000. I think this is a little less. I always forget. I'm bad with numbers. I will check. We'll show you a map.
Is it called Viciously Voodoo?
Viciously Voodoo.
Okay. And you're saying this is brand new?
Yep.
And so were all these sets here last year, or are these all brand new?
Inside is all brand new. This facade was built last year?
Yeah, last year.
Last year.
It's been redecorated a little bit.
It's cool, I love it.
And of course the address is 13.
We're not gonna go in 9.
Who lived at 1313?
I was having them go first so they could set.
Whose address was 1313?
Netherworld Way?
1313.
Ben Armstrong?
No.
Oh.
The Monsters.
Oh, well, that too.
Mockingbird Lane. Now I like this animation a lot. It just drops down and then you got all these snake heads that drop down on people.
Again?
Sleeping.
You know, I will say that water mist feels good.
Okay, this one's actor controlled off a remote, so when the under show lights, when the actor sees or hears or makes eye contact with you coming down the hall, they'll shut down all the lights in the room using a remote, and then they'll leave their position and invade your space and use the remote to turn on the UV lights, and they're all UV lit. Their costume is cool.
Do you buy them remote controlled from Fright Props?
Amazon.
I mean, Poison Props?
Amazon.
Amazon?
Yeah. It depends on what we're trying to do.
I mean, have you ever told Poison Props I want it to be triggered by a remote?
No.
I think they would like to know that. They probably could offer that.
Yeah, that would probably. I guess I would say it'd be nice to have the option. If you had the option where there's like a switch you turn off the motion sensor versus the remote. It's hard. It depends on the application. If we want an actor to have a remote, or we want to trigger. Because a remote, you can get the timing on spot on every time. But if you don't have an actor. This idea it's from Carnage Haunted House on Ohio, which unfortunately closed. Mia, she had a padded cell room and their actors and shackles. The way it's done, it's a sense of security when people come through, like all they're not gonna get in, and the loud noise of them running at you through the shackles and being able to break free was pretty cool.
another mirror effect, and you can see they put a half of a crate and 3 candles, so it makes it look like 6 with a full crate, and then they jump out from behind the mirror. Very clever. Oh, he wants me to go first. Now that just jumps right in your face.
We got this from you too, I think.
Did you know? And all of these are like coated in some latex, which is nice. And then obviously an actor jumps out here. I am literally being assaulted by animations. And so that was your new haunt. Now look, here's a phone. There's another phone. And then they have all their airlines, as you can see, really nicely done in
A
pipe.
lot going on. Yeah.
It's all done in pipe, which is a lot better than air hose.
This is the actual map of the building. The building's 60 by 120. That's what it was.
There you go. And you notice they got a perimeter all the way around the whole thing. So anytime somebody exits a haunt, they can go around the perimeter to find the exit.
Yeah, so we're
Oh, you have water there. That would be great.
the break room to the show, and this is what controls it all. These are custom players that we built in-house. They're basically like custom Arduinos, and we use Audacity to program them, but every one of these go to a zone, at least 1 or 2 zones per room in the show, and each zone can do up to 6 LED outputs, 5 relays, and 3 triggers. So essentially all the controlling for everything happening is happening out here.
What is this balcony for?
So back in the golden days, we have, instead of using remotes and more of the high tech, there would be actors up there pushing buttons. Actors. Room watchers, I would call them.
So how many more haunts we got now?
One more.
One more, all right.
One more that's fully done and ready, I should say.
All right, let's go check it out.
You need to finish. Well, I meant like,
Oh yeah.
finish the rest of this.
Now, where are we headed now?
So when they come out of Voodoo, they still have a little bit of a trail left, and it dumps you back onto the Midway.
Oh, okay. And then they have to go find the entrance to the other one?
Yep. And on those busy nights, like we pass them because they're noisy when we're talking, but they're covered up. We have TVs for people to watch. Like we did a Behind the Screams documentary series last year with 12 episodes. It's like 12 hours of video to watch.
And you put it on YouTube?
Yep.
Did it get a lot of views?
It was hit or miss depending on the episode. Like I said, we've been pretty. Our Facebook's our most impressive of our socials with 43,000. But it's at that point of that transition phase where it's TikTok and Reels on Instagram. Recognizing the need, but always forgetting.
So when you opened, you just recently opened just like a couple weeks ago for MHC. Was that stressful process for you?
That's an understatement. Yeah, because normally we have about 9 months to get everything ready from start to finish. All the shows inside, all the trails outside, the Midway, the games, buying everything for the gift shops, fire safety, everything in between. And it shortened it to less than 6 to have 4 attractions ready for them in time.
Now, I just have to say this. I have to ask this question because, you got to have thick skin to, do the kinds of things that, like opening for a haunt tour, because you're opening for peers. They're obviously could be extremely critical, and you're aware of that going in.
And that's part of the stress. It's like, what are people going to think? What are they going to say?
And you're just going beyond, above and beyond, trying to like cover all the bases, right?
Yes.
Now imagine.
Something a regular ticket buyer wouldn't notice, they might. So you're like crossing more T's,
100%.
dotting more I's, yeah.
Now imagine, like especially in the years we've opened Darkness and Creepy World, on top of the fact that we always wanted to try to get a new escape room open just in time for Transworld. Okay, imagine doing all that between November and the very early part of March.
Now February, next year it's in February.
Right, and then next year it starts in February.
Yeah.
Like, people just don't understand the stress that puts you under.
Lots of late nights.
Yeah.
A lot of what?
Late nights.
Late nights.
Late
I've
nights.
seen a lot of Larry on some late night lives. Late night lives.
Yeah, late night lives.
Yep.
Literally at 2. I always say, I first off, I'm never on Facebook really, but when it comes, I'm on Facebook to post on our Facebook pages, whether it's St. Louis Escape or whatever, right? And so I catch a few things here and there, but for the most part, I'm not on it. But whenever we're preparing for the haunt tour, our main marketing tool is just posting on Facebook, because that's where most of the haunt owners are, right? Mm-hmm. And so I'm doing these like late night Facebook Live things. It's like, I wonder how many people will be online at 1:45 in the morning or 1:15 in the morning. It's always crazy. But I guess you're up.
We're usually out here.
Yeah.
Usually out here.
I mean, that's the hard, but the outdoor stuff, it's hard because, yeah, you can do a lot of the preliminary running of wires and setting up pin spotlights and all those posts and up in the air, but you can't see if it's effective until it's nighttime.
Yeah.
So then you're out here, and it gets dark this time of the year, almost closer to 10.
Yeah. And
so it's at least 10 before you can walk where you've worked, and then you don't like it, so you'll stay later to fix it while you can still see it, quote unquote see it.
My favorite thing on Facebook that I've seen is when they talk about me doing haunt tours. Oh, he's getting rich off the haunted house industry. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, you need to do a haunt tour for the haunted house industry, and then you tell me if you're getting rich. Okay, you know what I'm saying?
go through and see how much he spent.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 200,000 plus every time.
And it's even the general public. I mean, every haunt has to get this. General public, you'll say, what do you do? And you work for such and such haunt. They'll be, you're working on that already? It doesn't stop.
Well, we started on Creepy World, and this is one of the reasons why I was asking. We started on Creepy World after Transworld. So we get going around the end of March.
If the weather allows.
So we have March, April, May, June, July, August, September. We have like 7 months. But for the darkness, for Transworld, we have November, December, January, and then, February. But you have to remember, inside that is the worst, because you have Thanksgiving, you have New Year's Eve, you have Christmas. And all of those are terrible because everybody's traveling, or they can't work, or they're going somewhere, or whatever. So you really lose like 3 weeks out of that time frame. So it really makes it hard. The last few years I've had to bring in people to help, because as you know, we also sell mini golfs, laser tags, and everything else. So if I take projects from other people, I got to do those and simultaneously get ready for Transworld. Man, it's just so stressful. It's not as hard for me now as it was the first year, the second year, but I have learned a lot about operating my haunted house because of the haunt tours. So is this your last haunt here?
Yes, that's available to show today.
Did we already go through the Niles one?
That's where we're headed now.
That's where we're headed now. Okay.
Niles has a fast pass, but the others don't.
They do. The duplex one is kind of hidden. It's on the other side of the generator. On those busy nights where the fast pass exceeds that little village we walked down, we'll open up a shortcut to cut them in. The field has a short one. And I mean, they all do, but some are shorter and longer than others depending on the popularity of the show. But
Niles is also the town, right, that you're located in. And so you named the main haunt after the town. And it's the oldest one here. And how long is this haunt?
it's just shy of 10,000 square feet inside, but we're going to start on the front trail. You'll go inside, and there's a whole other trail in the back. It's probably another 20 minutes.
Is this the original haunt to the...
On this property. So that name, Niles Haunted House, has been passed down since we originated what was once known as the Greater Niles J.C.'s Haunted House in 1974.
So Niles is the name of the town, and then you just tag the word Screampark, because that's what it is. It's a scream park. There's so much stuff going on here. It's crazy. And this is the main haunt.
Correct.
All right. So okay, let's
rock and roll.
Yeah, let's rock and roll. Let's go on in. And you know, you got really bright neon logo there on your hat that says Niles. Let's take a look at that.
I said it used to just be Niles Haunted House, and then as the complex developed, then we dropped the name Haunted House and just became a screen park. But people start off. There's 2 photo sheds. We do green screen. We use Capture Life.
Do you sell the photos?
We do.
Okay, is that a big income source?
The digital side of it, we should have done it a long time ago. The tangible, like coffee mugs or physical prints, what's nice about Capture Life is they handle all of that. So Capture Life, it's like plug and play, hardly minimal expense if you're looking as a haunted house.
So you're saying they could buy a coffee mug?
You can. Not through us, but they use Capture Life's app.
And do you get a percentage?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Capture Life only takes 10% of what you sell the pictures for. We do 1 for 10 or 3 for 25. And after you buy the digital rights to the pictures, then you can use their app and their digital storefront to apply that picture to those different merchandise.
Do a lot of people like upgrade it to a mug or something?
It's a little bit. It's hit or miss. I mean, it's a little bit of money, a little bit of money. It's not as much as people buying the pictures, but that's been a great investment for us since we...
So your other haunts were clearly like Voodoo and Pirates, for example. But this one's Niles, so nobody knows what Niles is other than it's the town. So what is the theme? Does it have just a random theme, or?
So this one you're actually going to be walking into a haunted mansion. It's more iconic.
So Niles is known as like your haunted mansion theme.
In the past we've changed it up a little bit. It was kind of a hodgepodge, but for the past few years we've kept it as that haunted mansion vibe.
Yeah.
And you guys are really great with these bridges.
And berries, I guess.
And berries. Look at the berries. Like, man, I could imagine there's got to be a lot of a lot of animals running around here eating those berries. Now, what the heck is that? That is a gigantic wall of trailers. Is that blocking you from the parking lot?
So it helps. It is a light barrier naturally, but on the other side of that is a light show built on top of it.
Oh, cool.
So as people are waiting in line to come into the park, waiting for their time slot, or if they didn't make a time slot, they have a light show to appreciate. It's about an hour-long show.
What kind of light show are you talking about?
Pixels, like actual light pixels. So there's talking ghost, skull, and a pumpkin.
Oh, okay.
They'll sing songs and they tells the rules while you're out there. Just general entertainment.
Emily Baby Von Grimm. Oh, we got some. And so, is this part of the haunt? Are there actors in here, or is this the queue?
This is
I see.
like a holding area. As people walk, we do have some roaming actors that work in here.
And you got a big old haunted mansion facade here. And then you go in right here?
So normally they would circle down that way and work their way into what we call the black weight structure. So when this first opened, it's still daylight out. And people's eyes aren't used to the low-level lighting, so they'll go in here, and it just weaves them back and forth through darkness to get their eyes dilated, and then they go in. But
okay.
We won't do that.
We'll go through the front door.
We'll just go through the door.
And I see you've left all the weeds. All the natural atmosphere. All the natural atmosphere is left. It truly looks abandoned.
So they normally come that way and then into the building.
Now our eyes have to adjust.
Got the overheads on, we're good.
Is that animated? Okay.
This is cool.
And this is for an actor?
panel there. He has boo holes. You would call them in here. Love water.
Man, you have a lot of skulls in here.
So we should have bought them, but we hand casted all of these skulls. There's about 3,600 of them. It doesn't look like it. We ran out and started getting really, it's more spaced out. You can't tell during show lights, but we casted 3,600 of them.
I love how you did the ceiling here. Looks fantastic.
So this is, I think it's like year 3 of the catacombs. But we're doing we're transitioning it now to Gothic Cathedral. So this part used to look like that. It's less skulls, and now we are doing more of a Gothic style. So this will carry on over there.
I noticed you have a lot of buttons. What is that button?
So what's unique about this house is it has 7 different doors. We're in the entry room. The 7 different doors that we put groups of people in, and it's all for regulating flow control. Different size groups, different timing in the rooms, and those buttons are operating what's happening in the room. So, you know, at the gate, everything else, I mean, yeah, you're getting those actors all the way down the trail, all the way up to this point, but at this point is when you're separated away from the rest of the people. So you'll ask how many in the room? 2 people, okay, got a room right for you. And they'll make up some story going pertaining to the mansion. You know, they'll say, you know, the mansion is very tall, it's got 4 floors, they might take you to the elevator, put you in the elevator, and it's our custom version of an elevator, it drops a few inches after it makes a bunch of noise.
So this is like a big queue line.
Essentially, up until that point, and then you get split away from the general public.
And where'd you get that chair?
Is that Home Depot again?
It's a Home Depot.
You know, I think I've seen this
Yeah,
there.
it's a Home Depot.
But that looks amazing.
Bone chrome.
The buttons let the people know behind, because we have people behind the scenes. It lets them know that there's somebody in the room, so that when the room triggers, they're able to get out.
So when people buy the reading ticket, they're like, oh no, I already went through that door. Give me another door.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
That's so
open to
cool.
let you go to a different room. So the multiplication of this unique style house with over 100 different ways through it mainly is happening here. But as you see, we're going to favor one side of the building and then horseshoe back up behind the scenes and go down the other side of the building. So basically it's 2 separate haunts in here. You can see everything, majority of everything in 2 trips.
All right, so which way are we going?
We should go see the monkeys.
Yeah, we can just go through the monkeys. Like I said, this haunt's a hybrid, old school and new school.
That's nuts.
Some stuff that he won't get rid of, like his black carpet hallway.
He won't get rid of
It's
it.
nostalgic. It's like come from all the other locations. So there's nostalgic pieces to this building that
Oh, look, there's somebody up there.
we won't be able to get rid of.
Hi, B.
So this is our first checkpoint, if you will. So we have individuals standing here that send them either south or north.
And you can pick whichever way you want to
So
go.
they're like the butler, the house, mansions, butlers, or maids. There are 4 different points that are here. So they're more or less flow control, directing one way or the other.
Which way do you recommend we go?
We're gonna start on the north side and we'll work our way back.
I also saw a sign that said handicap route.
And there is. Yep, even though, so this haunt is grandfathered in, so there are spaces far less than 36 inches, but there are a specific path for handicap accessibility.
And it's going to be a lot easier for handicapped people rolling around on your turf than it would be gravel.
That is true.
Those doors are amazing.
So we got a big old library here.
That's all actor controlled inside there.
So your actors basically control the animation.
Depending on the appropriateness of the room, yes. So this actor controls her, coming to life, the animation, and the air cam.
Yep.
And then they have normally behind the fireplace in the cavity, they also come out the end cap as well.
Awesome.
Another spot for here inside.
Oh, I like how you did that. Look at that, guys.
It's a little tricky.
So it actually swivels.
It's a 2-sided scare too. They can scare into the other.
On the other
that
side of the
as well.
house. On path
Yeah,
number
that's
2.
great. Okay, now where do we go?
It's an old school. It's a, we always like to ask, where's the actor at? You should know, where's the actor at?
In here?
In there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, with the show lights, you know, it looks like a mirror, and the actor is just a typical. We call it the fireplace illusion.
Because you have two chandeliers side by side, yeah,
Candles.
and two candles.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really clever. And you have, oh, I see now. You have the curtains
The
as
one
well.
came down, it looks like. But
Okay, yeah, let's get a better look at that.
That one
Okay.
looks like he fell down, but.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I've never seen that done in a haunted house
You
before.
haven't?
No, never.
That's cool.
So like for our 50th, we brought back a lot of that, which was last year. We brought back a lot of that old school stuff because we had to like literally dig through newspaper clippings and pictures to bring back stuff we used to do 30 years ago, and that was one of the things. And this is what we call a golf ball floor. It's sold in the industry now, but we've had this since the 80s.
Yeah, they do this a lot in fun houses. All it is, it's just golf balls
Golf
with a
balls and a slotted floor.
slotted floor.
So the house will transition, you know, a study to a basement vibe. So it transitions from quadrant to quadrant. This we got from actually, I give credit to Ben Armstrong. So it's a microphone disc on the lick sensor. So when an actor's in there, it's less wear and tear and abuse on him, and he can talk to you. And he's beating the hell out of this with an amplified speaker above.
Wow, that's smart. I love that. Wow.
That's Ben Armstrong. When we visited him in Netherworld, I was like, this is so genius. This is from another location. We call it the earthquake room. But it has thumpers. You hear a guy like he's calling for help. Phew. This is, you can see it, but this is actually on suspension cables over the whole room on the left. We don't know why. Don't do it.
Hey, can you do it again?
Okay, it works. Well,
Hey,
it
can-
stopped working.
Can you do it again?
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Oh! It got me. That's funny. Who'd you get that animation from?
That was Poison.
Poison
We brought
prop?
him, he looks. We didn't pay attention to the sizing because usually Poison don't have props that big. When we got him in, we're like, oh my God, what are we gonna do with him? 'Cause we don't have huge rooms in this building, and he fit perfectly. So this is the third point in the house that you're able to go one way or the other. So there's one more point to go. Why didn't he talk about it?
Wow.
I don't know why he didn't talk about it.
A squishy floor. I'm thinking that jumps down at you. Yeah. I was literally sitting there thinking it was going to jump down, and then it did, and then it scared me. You got some really tight, confining claustrophobia spaces here. that's cool. Here, let me get somebody walking across it. Did we miss sections of the inside?
Yes, we're gonna go through. Yes,
Oh, okay.
the ticket.
You just buy the ticket.
Really?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
It's invisibly. But normally, after they do the front trail and they do the one side,
So
they would exit out and go on a trail.
There were 4 points where you could choose. Go this way, 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 go this way. So when they come out, they really feel like, oh my God, we gotta buy another ticket, which is genius.
And they do. I don't. Good question.
You know?
I have to look.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here?
It's not crazy high.
We go
Normally,
behind the scenes,
we'll go
then
behind the
work our way
scenes
back
and
up
work our
front.
way back. But
And I'll tell you guys, having these walk around is absolutely great. And you can see they have platforms to get up and above the haunts.
Oh yeah.
Everything's labeled. It's labeled. It's just like Hell's Gate. They have the same thing.
this is the '90s version.
Yeah, this is the '90s version. Everything's done in drywall.
As Ross mentioned, all those turning points where you can go left or right are the fire exits that shoot you out these what we call fire figures.
Each one of these is fire exit.
Now, can you go above and see the whole from the top down?
From bird's eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we do it? Let's just go take a look.
Like, I want to see what customers
It's a hot mess.
No, that's okay. Now look at this, because you don't see this very often. It's hot up here too. Look at this. This is so cool. And there's their elevators. You can get all the way around this haunted house. Wow. This is really cool. Now, can I ask you a question? What do you use it for?
The catwalk.
Yeah.
This primary access, so when the show is operating, we don't want people walking through, because if you're coming down on a break and you have to go to the Midway or security, medical, whatever, we don't want people walking through the shows, disrupting the quality, so we have them go what we call up and over, so they're not distracting anything.
But from an operational standpoint, do you use it to watch customers?
Yeah. Occasionally, yep.
Or watch actors? Do the actors know, hey, they could be spying on me at any moment?
And they know they're being, it's funny how they work, because, and you know it, they know they're being watched on camera, but sometimes, I don't know, it just doesn't register. So you can watch them live in action too, like the camera.
Now I'm guessing this is a piece of plywood from a really older version of the haunt.
Yes.
Repurposed.
Repurposed.
And it looks like you have fog fluid up here. And
And toasty.
yeah, I love this. Now, how many of these do you have? Do you have them like every so often, so many feet?
This is the only one that goes up and all the way across, but there are at least two other ones, one on each side, towards the end that you can go up and just look.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, I would love to have that at my haunt.
This is, I made this aerial map for the field. So this is actually the field of Screams you walk and all their emergency exits and pass-throughs.
Wow.
So this is the path you took to go through the field.
Wow.
Holy cow.
And this is our fire maps, but it looks like a bunch of scribbles, but this is the interior of this show.
So you've got it all covered here.
I don't know if it's all the...
All the protocols, all the maps, everything.
Anyone need another water?
Oh yeah, I won't turn that down. It is. For those who don't know, the filming of this video, because most people probably watch it in October. Okay.
It's over 100 degrees.
No, but the videos, the haunt tour videos skyrocket in September, October. But we're filming this in June, and it's in the middle of a heat wave.
Mm-hmm. Early heat wave.
And what was really hot was going up in that loft. And I'm imagining even in October it's hot up there. Because all the bodies in the building.
It feels September, like usually the first weekend, maybe 2 of September, it's hot, but after that it's like...
Are any of your interior buildings air conditioned?
The only thing is the crypt at the end, which is for our actors behind the scenes, but we'll see towards the end.
Okay. All right, where do we go from here?
We're gonna go back into the entry area and then go down the other
And
side.
so there's 2 different haunts in here, you're saying?
Basically,
Okay.
it's an old 2012 map.
Oh, okay. You guys are not on top of it. Now, and I say that sarcastically because you are on top of it. You're doing an amazing job. Way more organized than we are, I can tell you that.
Oh, go on there. Is it already activated?
Yeah.
But I have to be able to criticize you for something.
Oh, then no one's perfect. So,
Now that you know that's on video, that you haven't replaced it since 2012, can you please get somebody on that?
Keep it there forever.
Because I don't have any.
just for you.
I don't have any. Not a single one.
What don't you have? What I missed?
Those documents all over the wall. We're not on top of it like you. That's... So can you make it go off again?
As soon as you, as soon as you
All
enter
right.
the doorway.
Like, Patty, make it go off again. Look at that, the refrigerator. Does that have to be reset every time, the stove door?
No, it's supposed to be. It came undone. It's not supposed to. All right, now. Maybe.
Let's try again.
There we go.
Now let me ask you, have you ever had a customer get their hand in there?
Well, it's our first year using her. Not yet.
Not yet.
Stop scaring
We
me.
try to always do a pretty substantial barrier between them and the animations, but I mean, by the time we always like to say, if you somehow get hurt off of something like that, you deserve it because you're doing something you shouldn't be doing. Unfortunately, people are touchy feely.
I have to tell you, you got to be the king of floors. Because I count the bridges. You just have a tremendous amount of really cool floors.
Battery dead? Okay, well, you'll get the picture. So, you'll see, this is inspired by our friends Ben Gagney with the 13th Hour in Indy. He does something similar to this. It's nothing new, but it's just something cool we did for... You'll have a duplicate portraits in the room, and the actor is wearing that exact silicone mask inside of a hollow frame, holding this candlestick. So, it's something simple.
Another
but
old school
extremely-
gag.
Extremely effective.
Love it.
See,
And that's here.
that's her. So there's an actor there, the table, and you're already distracted enough, but she's just standing there like a creep with her candlestick. And
So we too own that mask. Where did you get the pictures of the mask?
we just photoshopped it basically off of the website and then printed them.
The mattress moves all 4 directions.
There's
Now, what kind of pills were they taking?
there's a very, very good actor that's on that bed the whole time.
Man, we got a hammer. Nasty smells. seen a haunt that does as many floors as you guys.
Look at this dollhouse.
You're the king of floors.
Should be a straight.
Is that for an actor?
Yeah. They live in the dresser.
Or they can pass through.
Oh, and they can pass through the other side.
The people are basically just told to like pay your respects. Hold on to your stuff tightly. So pay your respects.
Hey, my respect.
Pay your respects.
I wish you.
And then it drops.
Look at that.
Whoa! Whoa!
Oh. Compliments of John Eslich.
Now you do notice they got a big old rail here that's really strong in case
Yes.
people fall into it.
How do you know that's compliments of John Esler?
He was here and
a couple weeks ago.
we treated him like he treated us. When we went to his haunt, every bar, he's like, want a drink, want a drink? So when he was touring around us, he's like, here's a drink, here's a drink. But
Is that the end of it?
of this part.
Did you get that from Destination?
We built on a couple and we've also made a couple.
So now we've officially done all the haunts except for the hayride. That's
Wicked Woods.
which is going to be Wicked Woods.
Yep.
We're gonna have to come back for that.
I said the stuff you haven't seen is Wicked Woods or Hooded.
Now look at this. We're right back to being tarped, fully tarped. I thought I found a screw. Now Hooded, is that just like a black maze where you just get pulled through?
It's not decorated because you can't see.
You can't see, right? I get the concept.
It's just a very it's a love-hate. Some people really like.
Do they allow you? Do you touch them in that one?
Yes.
Okay, and like what are your rules for touching them?
Shoulders and up, knees below.
Okay.
We avoid anything in between, because anything in between, even if you're just trying to like.
Now, where did you get all these real tombstones, headstones?
We made them. You like them?
You know, I
No, I'm
know a
just
guy. What are these like? Replacements?
So one of our sponsors locally is called Monuments by Design, and any of the whoopsies he has nothing to do with. So
but
he
these
said,
are
"You
real
want 'em?"
people.
These are real whoopsies for people.
You know, I have when I was first starting the haunted house business, the first haunt I worked for, he had a bunch of real monuments like that. And some of them were like from Jefferson Barracks, which is a World War, like a military. And literally the FBI or something like that came to see him. Because how did you get those, They're in federal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because he had real ones from a military graveyard. and somebody spotted that, and he got in a lot of trouble.
So how do you have them?
I don't remember. I mean, you're talking about 35 years ago. I can tell you another story about that guy. He had live rats in his haunt, and somebody got bit by one and sued him for like 50 grand. They got bit by the live rat. Back then, people did a lot of stupid stuff. Back in the 90s. So this is part of the Niles haunt?
Yep.
So no matter which haunt you do, you end up here?
You'll end up here.
Okay. How many actors do you have in the Niles haunt?
The main haunted house has around, between front, middle, the interior, and then the back, we have around 35 or 40.
35 or 40?
Okay. More.
Berries.
Jeez, I didn't realize they were literally
Loaded.
loaded everywhere.
You are loaded with berries. I mean, once we're done filming, I guess you don't mind if I spend 2 hours picking them?
Good way. Good trip home. We need some snacks.
Oh, you have gazillions of them. So how many, is this like maybe like a full acre of like a cemetery we're walking? I mean, like a outdoor area?
Maybe a little bit more than that. Probably slightly over an acre.
So what was the reception that you got from MHC?
I always say, and you probably have from experience, it's kind of hard to read other haunters because they stargaze and ooh and ah, and their brains are just like, you know, the gears are turning.
How do you operate it through? Do you let them go through twice, or have they only seen half of Niles?
We made sure they could see like both sides.
Gotcha.
So they ate in the crypt, ate and drank in the crypt, which we'll see. Then they saw both sides. This building closed while the pirate show and Voodoo were going, and then that closed, and then the field stream's open.
So did you have it with actors?
Yes.
That
Okay.
added to our stress too. So a lot of our actors that work at the main haunted house, we had to transfer them over to the field of screams when it closed.
Yeah.
So we did a rotation.
To do a double training.
So you couldn't get a full complement in the summer?
We had a decent compliment.
Like how many would you normally have in the, where in the heck did you get that boat?
Another Home Depot.
Man, that thing looks amazing. So how many do you have like for the whole place? Actors, soup to nuts.
What was that? 215.
Okay, and then for MHC, what was the top number you could muster?
Right around 160.
160?
Yeah.
So about like 40, 50, 60 less than you normally have?
I mean, that's the 215, 220s, including all of our administrative staff too, our supervisor, security. A lot of people that we don't run or didn't run for MHC.
Mm-hmm.
So we had actors everywhere, but we also wanted to build the shows up a little more than we typically do to give a good show.
And that was a big part of the stress of doing a off-season show was like,
Yeah.
can you get the actors to show up?
In the summer.
Yeah, you know, that's something you worry about. They say they're going to show up, and then, you know, you just never know.
You were asking about chainsaws earlier, so this is our chainsaw alley here.
And it depends on how busy they are. They'll either use this side or they'll use the side that was blocked off. But it has two of the smaller claustrophobia bags that people try running through, but they can't.
We made it out alive. So did we survive the whole thing?
Yeah?
And then, so what happens when people are like, they've done all the haunts? Do they, for in your experience, do they just hang out in your Midway, or do they just generally leave?
Some stay on the Midway with the photo ops and the activities, the gift shops and whatnot. There's always stuff to do. A a lot of our patrons make a night out of it, so they're here for 3, 4, 4.5 hours.
My God, to be able to keep them here that long, you have to have, you say you have about 20 acres of parking?
That's it. That's key.
And have you filled it up?
The more parking you need, yes. There's a video on our YouTube page from 2018 that was our record, that I think still to that day was the most amount of people we ever had in this park. And that's when we realized we needed more parking. And then time ticketing came around. There was a lot of needs after we had that night, but it shows an aerial drone going up in the air, going around the entire parking lots in the complex, and then showing the roads coming in because it's only one lane both ways.
Jam-packed.
What was the most you've ever had here one day?
It was, I think it was about 14.5. I don't remember the exact number.
14,500?
Yeah, it was absolutely brutal. I mean, the people, we were getting calls by, you know, the police, local police, saying you got to do something about this traffic because they were going down this way, all the way down to the truck stop, waiting to come in. People couldn't like turn to leave here to get out. We were backfilling parking spaces, parking people along the lanes, parking people. I mean, we didn't know what to do. It was like, what do you want us to do? There are people on the bypass ramps coming in, and it was just like.
So has time ticketing changed that?
It has. So time ticketing for us isn't for the individual shows. It's just to get into the park.
Yeah.
So if you have a reservation at 7 o'clock, there's a 7 o'clock sign that's put up, and you get in the 7 o'clock line, you're let in right at 7 o'clock. If you're, 8 or 9 o'clock, sorry.
So are you managing how many people can come per day?
Essentially, yes.
So what is the maximum that can buy a ticket on a Saturday?
Yes, 14.5.
Well, no, not that anymore. That was like an anomaly of chaos, and never again. I think our thresh was like, it's now about 5 or 6.
And have you noticed that that's pushed people into other days?
Yes.
Have you seen an increase in attendance in other days because you're doing time ticketing?
Yes, and there's other things that we've also done that ended up bringing more people versus than leveling that out. Is what we call on Sundays for us are the least attended nights compared to Fridays and Saturdays. I mean, Sundays are like a Monday. They're not good.
By the way, what's Beetlejuice?
So Beetlejuice was one of the board members that's been with Niles for a very, very long time, and he unfortunately passed away, but his legacy still lives on with us through Emmy. I don't know, you probably know Nancy. She works with Transworld, and Jen. She's Emily Smith when she's working for Transworld, but when she's out here in character, she's as Nancy. And she's been out here since she was a little girl and grew up with the place.
Awesome.
But no, the one thing we did with ticketing is on Sundays was called the Sunday Super Slasher Special. If you buy 4 or more of the big packages, we'll cut the price in half. And we thought, and we were trying to get people away from Saturdays and Fridays, trying to level out our attendance. And what that did instead was brought a whole different demographic of people to the park. So we had a different problem. It was a good problem to have. We brought in more people on Sundays instead of leveling and taking away from Saturdays by giving them half-price tickets. So now we're in the worker lot, and we'll just show more of the behind-the-scenes stuff.
In here,
East of Indy, and then shop.
there we go. They're playing videos. They got acting awards of all kinds with people's names on it. And what exactly happens in here? Now, before I even answer that, is this like a t-shirt of every year?
As far back as we could go, 85.
Holy cow.
There are shirts older than that.
And where's the room for the next ones?
We will add on to the quilts on the next row underneath. Yep.
Okay.
It's ready.
So what is this room? What happens in here? And I feel it's air conditioned, which is a good thing.
It is. It has heat and air. It's like the luxurious, out of the whole park, this is great for
Yes.
all of our staff. We call it the crypt. So the crypt is more or less where we congregate all of our actors before we open, and we kind of do like a little pep rally. And we'll do a coffin nailing ceremony. It's behind the screen, but we're select members of the cast that have been here based on how many hours they've contributed and longevity at the project. They will get a dog tag with their engraved name, and they get to use a rose head nail and bang their dog tag into the coffin lid. We do contests like limbo and dancing, just hyping people up and having fun. We'll feed them on most nights.
You feed your actors almost every night?
Almost every night.
What do you feed them?
Anything from Sloppy Joe's. We have sponsors like Chick-fil-A will come in. Who else?
Brown Funeral Home.
Brown Funeral Home. It's
What do you get there?
I know.
To die for.
Food to die for. So they do a lot of home cooking.
Formaldehyde burgers.
We've done pulled pork. I mean, you name it. It's it just depends.
How much does that cost to feed your staff every night?
Per night, I couldn't tell you. It's several thousand in a season for sure. It's not. It's nothing crazy, but the sponsorships really help level that out.
Krispy Kreme does a sponsorship with us. We have Krispy Screen Night
Yeah,
for patrons and for our
For the
volunteers.
first so many people that come into the park. Trying to remember what else. But yeah, we'll in the off season we'll do once a month gatherings of the crypt with all of our staff. It's just free to attend. Bring your friends and family who don't even work out here, and hopefully they do get involved. But we've done movie nights on the screen, so people just watch movies, and we'll provide popcorn and drinks. We've done strobing bingo, we've done scavenger hunts, we've done a board game night. So just keeping people engaged in the off season instead of just saying, all right, see you next year.
We feed them every night for that too.
Yeah.
And then where do they, do you have like off-season events for your actors?
No, it's just when we're open.
Just when you're open?
Yeah.
When do you start recruiting everybody? Like, when do you start that process?
We started early this year with MHC.
Yeah.
So we already have a few newbies under our belt, which is really cool. I'd say it really starts to amp up at the beginning of August when we have our first group leader meeting. So our group leaders are the ones that kind of rally the troops. But once they start feeling that, everything gets amped up and they start bringing in their friends, their family members.
In the course of a season, probably just somewhere around just over 500 different people will have worked out here while we're open. So there's a lot of, that's the hard part. I mean, being a volunteer-based project is there is a lot of turnover. And the one thing that we developed, unfortunately during COVID, is what we call our Crypt Creature program, following what most haunts do in the country. It's a paid acting program. So these we do auditions in the spring, and they go through several different sets every month or every couple of months of trainings and
Get-togethers.
so they are paid actors, and it's up to them. Some of them actually take that increased pay and donate it to a charity, and very few of them actually even pocket the money. So it's cool that some of those people that are even auditioning to be paid choose to just give it away. And then that's just some of the plaques and pictures of the history over the many, many years.
So where do your actors get ready?
We're gonna leave the air conditioning space.
Oh no.
I was enjoying it.
Wait, let's stay in here. I noticed you have everything on these like controllers. What is the system that runs all this stuff?
So in here is ran off of, gosh, let's see. It's QSYS.
QSYS?
Is that application there?
Computer is a brain, and then it remotes out to the iPad.
This is a custom interface. Like if anyone needed to know more information on that, it's one of our, he's actually the Field of Screams, he's the Field of Screams manager when we're open, but he works for a stage company for his day job. So he created this interface, and they put in all these lights and infrastructure for us.
And
Awesome.
programmed every single song for us.
Yes.
There you go.
No easy feat.
So this is not going to exist probably when people see this because we're moving this entire check-in process to the new addition we just built next to the crypt.
Okay.
So where you can kind of see where the new concrete meets to the old.
Yep.
That we added on to that this year. So
That's going to be your new actors
that's
area?
going to be the new actor check-in.
Awesome.
When we'll be able to pump in AC and heat over there versus this nightmare right here. So right now it's a mess, but when people get here, there are bulletin boards on easels outside. They're in here, and there are, I don't know if I see any of them right
some
now.
over here.
Are they hiding? Oh, there's one right here.
It's a 3-pager.
So this is the process.
So when you get here, you find your name. So once you find your name, you can see this, and then you're assigned a number. So We value all of our actors. We like their names, but when it comes to check-in process and makeup and costumes, we need their number just to make it more efficient. So I'll give the number at the check-in booth. We give them a room direction card that gives them their makeup and costume that's set up for them. They'll go through this process down here, which we'll see in a second, and then we have what we call openers that take them to their room and explain the room to them. And that's how they determine where they're at. And they look at that card and they know exactly where they're working and what their costume is supposed to be.
Awesome.
So it's like a well-oiled machine, more or less. They take the card and they follow the assembly line.
And the cards
they're color-coded based on, yeah, they look like this, but they'll show what they're supposed to be wearing, what their makeup is, and that's the order in which the attractions open.
And then these are dressing rooms.
Changing rooms. This is the current. This is where all the costumes are. And then they normally enter that way and come out this way, but this is the makeup room.
Nice.
That's an inferno right now. Why is it feeling worse?
Oh yeah, it definitely feels like an inferno.
Wow.
We won't spend much time in here.
No. We can show you the new space, which probably feels better than this.
4, 5, about 6 makeup stations.
So we're taking from 6 to 12 in the new edition.
Oh wow.
And we'll show you over there.
That's just storage.
I call that the home ghetto.
I'm loving all these doors. Where did you get all these doors from?
So Pete has an obsession with doors.
I've seen them.
And it all
really
started.
They do sell it.
It all started in thanks to visiting Dwayne in Baton Rouge. There's a place called The Bank down in New Orleans, and they sell tons of antique doors like this. And
He has them in his house.
we had them shipped from New Orleans to here to do the crypt, because behind the movie screen there's a huge set of doors. But now there's a local guy that it's like 45 minutes away, and it's called Sunset Junks. And he travels all over the country, going back and forth from Florida. And when he sees a door, he literally, Pete's personal line texts him, "Want this door?" And he says yes every freaking time. And it's like, we have enough doors. But
I love it.
What in the heck is this? Is just to keep the tractor balanced? Because that looks like a bucket full of concrete.
Yep, it's a counterweight, so that way you're able to actually lift
Heavier weight?
heavier weight.
Oh, okay. Now, is that part of your property there?
Up until the grapes. So the corn, all that corn is ours up until you hit the grape field.
So are you growing corn, or are you just like subleasing it?
It's under contract. Yep, we have a farmer that'll come and do it. So that way we're able to use the corn as we need to, because we used to have, corn cob gun, and we'll put it in our sets.
But you don't do a corn maze.
We don't do it.
Have you thought about doing it since you have growing corn?
We have. Because parts of even back there where we didn't see, we used to have way more cornfield, but as the attractions grew, we consumed the cornfield. We've always wanted to. We've done something similar, and people would just rip the corn and chuck them. Becomes more of like a weapon, unfortunately. Our experience. We've always wanted to. In here is, like I said, I call it the home. This is all inexpensive Mod Podge of anything and everything. I mean, it's just.
Oh, so it's just basically house everything.
Houses, inexpensive props for the most part.
Man, and people don't realize like a big haunt needs a lot of storage. There's something that I've been doing at our haunts over the last few years is instead of storing, we store while on display. So even though we don't need extra props there, we put them there anyway.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather display them than have them just sitting around doing nothing. Wow. So is that the entire tour?
If you want to see the wood shop, mechanic shop, and weld shop, it's a few.
Yeah, since we're here. Now, how do people find you online?
What's that?
How do people find you online? NilesScreampark.com, or what is it?
Haunted.org.
Haunted.org.
Correct.
Okay.
All the social handles are just Niles Screampark.
Niles Screampark?
Yeah.
Have you guys tried to build up your social medias, and which one do you favor the most?
It's still heavy on Facebook, but it's starting to go to the direction of TikTok and Instagram Reels.
Yeah.
It is. And that's where our target market is favoring.
Yeah, Facebook added Reels. They're like, we're getting left behind. And you know what's really funny is Twitter started that with Vine, if you don't recall. And it didn't catch on, and they dumped it.
That was crazy.
And so Elon Musk recently put out, should we bring Vine back?
Do it for the vine, as they always said.
But I think what the reason why I didn't catch on was because they limited it to 4 seconds. So it had to be really fast.
I think 4 or 7, something like that. And I was like, what are you doing that amount of time? I could never figure it out.
Now, are these animations that you're using, but they're just being stored, or they're not being used at all?
Not being used right now this year.
Okay.
So all the interior stuff is done. We're not sure what we're doing with Wicked Woods, so some of these might go out to the woods. Well, I'm sure a few of them will, but not all of them. Like a clown's not going to be in the woods. He could, not in these woods.
Yeah, there's a lot of animations and props.
We call him Fried Freddy. I don't remember his technical name. The old Distortions electric chair.
Wow, this is amazing.
The original with the motor.
Looks like you should bring him down for the 50th.
So you said, Pete's about to turn 50?
Pete's about to turn 50.
No.
Oh, he's beyond that.
Niles the Haunt.
Oh, Niles the Haunt.
50th last year.
Okay, so you celebrated 50 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now the Darkness this year is going to celebrate 31. So I don't know if I'm going to hang in there for another
Oh, you can do it.
19.
Just do it. You got all the history, right?
No, I'd have to do it for 20 more because this year would count as one of them. But I did haunts 5 years prior to that. So I'm at 35, this will be 36. You start to feel a little bit more each year. Hey, well, thanks for the tour.
Absolutely.
And man, your place is amazing. And I think, you know, the biggest thing for me was the way that you're utilizing the remotes with the animations and all the way you're doing like all the floors. I mean, like you're the floor haunt king because your whole entire haunt is covered in flooring. Like hundreds and hundreds of square feet, thousands of square feet is covered in flooring. And then even inside, you're building ramps, bridges. I mean, it's just insane.
We try with that time we have. You know, like I said, we'll build the Voodoo show was 2 months. It took 2 months to do that whole show, and it was nothing but drywall to start. We want people to feel as immersed as they can in that amount of time that we have to actually build the shows. And obviously we had the overhead lights on, but with the show lights and everything operating, I mean, it just...
When do you
floors
open?
help.
When do you open?
September 6th this year.
So you open like for how many days in September?
It's just Fridays and Saturdays in September. And then we add Sundays in October.
And then do you open for any weekdays at all in October? No?
We used to have a Hell Week, as every haunt would call it, and it was just never worth it.
Yeah, now do you open on, are you going to open on Halloween?
What's Halloween fall this
Thursday?
year? Nope.
Only when it's on a weekend.
What about Friday and Saturday after Halloween?
For blackout, yep.
So you do a blackout?
We'll do a blackout, and we've been doing a blackout for 8 or 9 years now. Once we added a little bit of a flair to it the past couple, and we do what we call blackout extreme. What's really cool about having the multiple route haunt is we have an upgraded ticket. For $10 more, you'll sign a waiver, you'll get a glow necklace, and you'll go on the regular people go on one side of the house, and the blackout extreme people go on the other side. And it's extremely interactive, where the actors can, just like Hooded, but now you can see, can touch you, interact with you. You might eat Birdie Bot jelly beans, drink grass flavored soda.
So when you open like September 6th, how many people do you expect to come?
It's only like the first night would be like 1,000 people. There's the enthusiasts, the crazies. Instead of waiting, they've been waiting all year for the opening day.
What about Halloween? Do you guys ever have a conversation and go, well, it's on a Thursday, we should open?
Well, we used to. No matter where Halloween fell, we would always open. If it was on a Monday, we'd open. But this is year 3 or 2?
Year 3.
Year 3 that we have decided if it's not on a weekend, we're done. Halloween was never for us because if it fell on a weekday, people are going to Halloween parties. They're trick-or-treating with their
usually on the
kids.
same night that we're open.
And on the same night. And it might feel like opening weekend. 1,000 people, it's just not worth it. Or less, depending on where it fell on the weekday. It's the dynamics have changed a lot, through the years of even being on this property. It's taught us a lot, but...
Hey, well, thanks for the tour. I mean,
Anytime.
it's outrageous, like how big it is. I mean, I figured it out when I was outside. I had to go get another battery. We've walked about, I think it's like 2.8 miles. That's insane.
And you still had an attraction you couldn't see yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's one we didn't see. So, and now you're gonna walk it. So now, I mean, this haunt is probably like a 3-mile haunt. That's insane. You know, I'm gonna have to see how far of a walk Creepy World is, but it doesn't compare.
And I might have to still check it out. It's inspiration.
Well,
every haunt's unique and different and inspiring. So.
And that's the one thing, you know, when we do these behind the scene tour things, because I haven't been visiting haunts and anybody's haunts since the 1990s, okay? Because we're a little bit different. We're building attractions for other people, you know, and it's just like mini golfs. Like, well, it used to be haunted houses. Like, we don't have time. And so I just like forgot about it. And then we started doing the Hauntworld videos, and people were sending us videos to put on the video, you know, so we would see them like that way. And then now you've got YouTube, and you know, people make videos and you can see them that way. But you know, like this whole Hauntworld, reviving the Hauntworld YouTube page, it was always there and nothing was ever being uploaded to it. And I just decided to upload because, you know, it's really a funny story, because somebody was talking about the old Hauntworld videos. And I was like, oh yeah, we don't sell those anymore. It's like, hell with it. Let's throw it up on the Hauntworld YouTube. Why not?
I remember seeing that happen too. It was just steadily.
And people went so nuts for it. I was like, all right, we'll upload another one. And then another one. And then I was like, maybe we should re-engage. Like, we were kind of like the originators of, like, in a way, of doing all these info, you know, how-to videos for the industry. So we just started making more videos. And we're not really YouTubers. We're just kind of sort of doing it as an opportunity.
Yeah.
And as I called you out of the clear blue sky, right? You're like,
For sure.
what?
I'm like, what?
Yeah. Hey, guess what? I'm like an hour away, you know? And then you said, come on by, because we were on a farm tour. And so I want to say thank you, and sorry Pete's not here. He's on vacation, I'm guessing.
Yes.
And so thank you for giving us the tour and all the insight. And you know, the one thing that I'm like learning, and I'm learning here from you guys here today, is that every haunt is so different, and everybody has like some kind of little unique thing that that only they are doing. And there's like something to pick up everywhere. It's like the same thing with these farm tours we went on, right? Because they were all so different, but they're all trying to learn from each other. And so hopefully these videos will help. And I really think, I'm thinking this video is gonna be damn near 2 hours long. We've gone through 4 batteries. And I remember saying to you on the phone, I was like, well, I'd like to do it all in one battery, you know, just walking. I don't think that's gonna happen. Okay,
I did more than that.
And you were right, because we're on battery 5. And I don't know how long the video is going to be, but my guess is around, you know, 1 hour and 40 minutes. If they go through the whole hour and 40 minutes, they're going to be, you know, just blown away by your place.
Hopefully they put anyone to sleep. I don't know.
No, I think they're going to watch the whole hour 40, and I think it's going to be spectacular. Because I've learned a lot today. What was your favorite part?
Well, like you said, the floors, and the more and more you get traffic, you need to create environments where everybody's going to feel that same. So I love that. I really, really, really love that pirate show. I know they were taking it out in a season or 2, but
I wouldn't take it out.
I really loved that. Everything in there. I mean, the Niles, the anchor attraction was awesome, and it's really interesting how they really pull a second go around throughput with the customers to buy another ticket. I think it's genius. And
you know, another thing that like your haunt reminded me of, and because I'm not trying to say your haunt is old school, but you have a lot of old school stuff. And it made me think about the first haunt I ever did, which was called House on Haunted Hill. And it was a very small building, so we made the walls really tight, and people were terrified of it, okay? And we don't do that anymore. And when I was walking through your haunt, there was a lot of places where you could barely get through, and that was just making me remind me of how terrified people were of that claustrophobic feeling. You know, and like you had several spaces where it was like,
I said the main haunt, it's a hybrid. It's that classic feel with a little bit of, you know, the new generation and animations.
Hey, well, thanks a lot, and
Thank you.
and we'll have to come back when you're open. And we want to thank them for giving us a behind the scenes tour. And I hope you stuck with the whole video, because my favorite things were their indoor haunts. And I loved a lot of stuff on their outdoor haunts too, especially that barrel bridge. That was freaking cool as hell. And all the ways that they were utilizing old school scares to in modern day, that was freaking amazing. This haunt is probably one of the longest haunts I've ever seen. And whenever you have a haunt like this big, I mean, you're talking about, it's just a lot of work to do all the stuff that they're doing. So kudos to them. And you have to remember, we didn't even get to see the hayride part, which here it is right here. This is the hayride part. It used to be the hayride. So now they're making it a walking trail. And this thing goes on forever and ever and ever. This haunt is probably 3 miles plus of walking space. Now, we said we were going to do more behind the screams videos for you, because what we're trying to do is take you behind the scenes so you get an idea of just how difficult this is, how much work it is, how much time and effort it takes. And you know, when you hear people say they want to get in the haunt business, I mean, like, they've been doing this for 50 years. This wasn't built overnight. And this place is absolutely crazy. It's absolutely amazing. I would love to come here in October. I've learned a lot today, and again, I want to thank them. And we're going to do more behind the screams videos. We're doing this for the haunted house industry, but we know that people who aren't in the haunted house industry see the videos, and that's okay, because they're getting an idea of just how massive an effort it is to produce these attractions. And that is a really big goal of mine, for people who don't know, when they question like how much an attraction costs, how much money, like, oh, that the cost is $33, $35, $40 is too much. Do you know the effort that it takes to run these things, and the amount of people, the labor? It's just overwhelming. And you're seeing and hearing from different haunted house owners, based on all the videos we've made, how many months out of the year they work on these things. It's all year, and they've got full-time staffs and everything else. So hopefully people watch these videos and appreciate haunts, and the people who run them and operate them, design them, build them, maintain them, act in them. It's just a whole nother level. This haunt is one to see right here. It's not that far from Chicago, so if you ever get a chance, come on over here, give it a chance, because I mean, I'm telling you, you're going to be here for hours on end. So thank you, and make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And we do have a lot more behind the scenes videos coming of haunts coming very soon. So me and Patty, who's over here, and she wants the car turned on because she wants the air conditioner on. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go.
And you're ready to eat?
I had so much fun today, though.
You had a lot of fun?
Yeah, this was really cool.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just an event that can't be missed. You know what I mean?
And you're also trying to go out and reach out to haunts for Fear Ticket. I guarantee we're the only ticketing company that's actually traveling to haunts, visiting them in person, and making the time to talk to them.
Yeah, and I think that the suggestions that I gave, how Fear Ticket can, with their shareable links and shareable QR codes, can really
help this place.
Yeah, because it help any large Screampark style.
But you know what the greatest thing about Fear Ticket is? You get a haunt like this who's doing things completely different than any other haunt we know, and then you have to customize the ticketing app to fit their needs. And that's why Fear Ticket has quite a few cool features.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we wanted to come out and see them, and we're gonna go see some more haunts.
Perfect.
We're definitely going to Denver, and we're definitely going to Chicago this summer. And I want to get out to Cleveland, and we're definitely going to go to Florida, and we're going to just try to see as many haunts as we possibly can. Until then, happy Halloween, happy haunting, pleasant screams, the whole shebang, and we'll see you soon. And thank you, Niles Screampark, for a great adventure today.
For scary videos and more, subscribe to our YouTube page, Hauntworld.com.